Hello ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to this, another episode of 97th Heaven. Now tonight we're going to be looking at WCW Superbrawl 7 from 1997. So, this one, interesting, let's have a look. First ever pay-per-view from the Cow Palace. I didn't know that there's only ever been this one pay-per-view. I know that the Cow Palace has been played by pretty much every wrestling company ever. You know, I know that the WWE regularly does house shows there, but I didn't know that the pay-per-views didn't emanate from there, so that's an interesting thing, first of all. Straight away, isn't it? Buyrate for this one is a 0.75. Now, last month, in January, as we all know, it was the NWO pay-per-view. Sold out, you know, NWO sold out. It was an NWO-themed show. For anyone who didn't watch my review, go and watch it, it was good. Buyrate for that one was a 0.47, so it was obviously, you know, it should have been obvious to everyone at WCW that this type of thing is what the people want to see, not just the NWO. But, you know, people don't listen to me, obviously. Anyway, so the show starts off, this one does, with Roddy Piper, who's been locked up in Alcatraz for a week. Now, of course, bear in mind that I didn't watch Nitro and I didn't watch these shows at the time. It's very hard watching it 13 years later, sorry, to go, why is he doing that? But for me, it's not the fact that he's doing, I mean, I'm assuming here he's got a match with Hogan. I'm assuming he's locking himself away in a prison to, you know, to psych himself up and everything. The thing is, what I don't get is that Alcatraz is a disused prison. You know, it's a tourist attraction, it's a museum nowadays, you know? So why unlock yourself up there? And it's like, the other thing is, it's like, you know, we're wrestling fans are jaded enough at the best of times. Do you actually expect us to honestly believe that you've been there for a week? No, come on. Anyway, what I do know is that at Starrcade 1996, you know, just 2 months prior to this show, it was Hogan, it was Piper, it was for the championship, and basically Piper had issued the challenge to Hogan. It wasn't the other way around, yeah? So when Piper put a sleeper hold on Hogan and won the match, everyone thought, fuck yes, we've got a new champion. But Piper, in his stupidity, even though he issued the challenge, bear that point in mind, it wasn't, he never said it was for the championship. It was just, I want a match with you, even though, you know, you're the champion, I want a match. Now, we just all assumed, well, I didn't watch it, but everyone, all the WCW fans just assumed it was for the belt, because you naturally would, wouldn't you? Tonight, it's definitely for the championship. Oh yes, no sir, no cop-outs this time. This time it is definitely for the belt. I need to point out that, you know, Piper won that match, yeah, with a sleeper hold. With a sleeper. He actually won, oh, don't even want to go there. So, opening contest was Syxx defeating Dean Malenko in a good match to win the Cruiserweight Championship. Backstory with this one, that Syxx had stolen Eddie Guerrero's US title belt off Eddy Guerrero, obviously, and now he's at Starrcade, and now he's stolen Dean's Cruiserweight title on Nitro. So yeah, this is basically because I'm going around and I'm stealing belts. I'm not the champion, but I've got the belt. Yeah, so good enough reason to fight, I suppose. So, Dean attacks for first with a dropkick, but pulls Syxx up at 2, and the crowd love it. He hits a brainbuster, but again he picks him up. Beautiful power slam, gets 2 for Dean, who then locks on the chin like me. Cloverleaf attempted, but Syxx escapes and they head outside. Then they go back inside. I don't know why I write that. It's like they head outside and you're expecting something exciting to happen, and it just doesn't. So you've just got to write back inside. Syxx hits a nice insecurity. He's selling the right knee, by the way. After a drop kick to the knee earlier on, Bronco Buster gets no reaction at all. Leg drop gets 2. God, I can't believe he was doing the Bronco Buster all that time ago. You know, I was sick of it in 2000, let alone in you by this point. Yeah, Syxx sells the leg and as he gets up, which is brilliant. Sleeper by Syxx, then another which Dean escapes with a back suplex for 2. Syxx puts Dean down on the apron and hits an elbow off the second rope. I like that. That's really good. You know, Syxx is basically essentially working the neck. I know the sleeper isn't a great one at doing it, but you know, if you can understand it, you've got Dean's underneath the bottom rope, And Syxx comes off the second rope with an elbow. Yeah, it's a nice little move. Vertical suplex and a guillotine leg drop get 2. Another sleeper. Syxx goes upstairs but gets crotched. Dean hits a super backdrop suplex, which is nice, for 2. So Syxx then grabs the belt, but Eddy Guerrero comes out and stop him. And they have like a tug of war sort of thing with the belt, like push in, push, pull. And when Eddy eventually loses control and lets go of it, basically Syxx just swings around, bam, right in Dean Malenko's face. 1, 2, 3. Syxx is the champion. This is, not the best of any finishes by a long shot, but a good match, decent psychology, some good spots. The crowd were good too, and it was decent length. So 3 stars from me. Need to point out before I go on that Dusty Rhodes is on commentary for this one, and the commentary is awful. I don't like Dusty Rhodes' commentary at all. I mean, you can't give him, you give him 10 out of 10 for enthusiasm, and 10 out of 10 for the fact that he never phones it in. But it's just some of the stuff he comes out with is so stupid. So, Konnan, La Parka, and Villaño, number 4, defeated Juventud Guerrero, Ciclope, I think it is, and Super Calo in a typical Lucha Libre match. I could tell you all about this match, but let me go. I could just, every time I could just go on such a rant about fucking Lucha Libre. Lucha Libre is impressive, right? It is. It really is. It's flip-flop, high-spot stuff. The problem is that I have with Lucha Libre is it doesn't have any context to it whatsoever. So there's no psychology, there's very rarely any selling, no sort of groundwork or anything. So basically you've got a match which is just spot, finish. And I don't like that. So while you've got to give them high scores because some of the bumps that they take are absolutely ludicrous, you then have for me I have to rein it in with it. But look, there's doing these. Right. Let me tell you my big problem with this match in particular. Right, is that check this out. Normally, I seem to find in a Lucha Libre match that they do all these incredible high spots, and then it's the match winning move is normally something so mundane. You're just like, well, how did that work? An example I'm going to give you for this one. I don't want to talk about the match. I can't be bothered. It's a 1 3/4 star match. If you want to give it 2 stars, I wouldn't complain, right? But early on in the match, Konnan hits a power bomb. Right, and then there's flip flop, big spots, stupid triple suicide dive and all that. What wins the match? Konnan hitting another powerbomb. So it's like all these crazy stuff didn't get the job done, but the move that you used in the first move that Konnan hit was a powerbomb. It's like, so why didn't you pin him then? Oh man, it's really stupid. Like I say, no context, no psychology, and no selling. So all the good that they do with these ridiculous moves gets right back down to earth. Next, Prince Iaukea defeated Rey Mysterio in a crap match to retain the TV title. First of many duds of the evening, I'm afraid. I've always heard, I don't know if this is true, someone can back me up, someone who watched WCW a lot more than I did can back this one up. But I always heard that at this time Prince Iaukea was getting pushed because the WWF were pushing Rocky Maivia to the point where when Triple H dropped the Intercontinental Championship to Rocky Maivia, he was the WWF Blue Blood sort of thing. Well, I've heard that WCW's Blue Blood, which was Steven Regal, dropped the TV title to Prince Iaukea. If someone can back that up for me, I'd be really, really shocked because, like I say, that's something I've only ever heard on the underground grapevine. So anyway. Oh, and this was my, before I go on, this was my first time I've ever seen Prince Iaukea before he became the artist formerly known as Prince Iaukea. At least I think it was. Anyway, nothing of note at the start until Iaukea hits a splash off the top to silence. When I say silence, I mean the crowd are utterly dead. They don't give a shit about this match at all. Rey drop kicks Iaukea in midair in a nice springboard dive. 2, no reaction at all. Springboard moonsault gets 2 for Rey. Second one also gets 2, and that gets no reaction whatsoever. Oh, none. It's like, imagine it, moonsault, you're like, yay! Nothing. There's silence. The thing is, even the commentators don't care. That's what makes it even worse. They're not going, oh my god, what a moonsault! Like, moonsault. Super Samoan drop by Prince to no reaction. Steven Regal comes out and gets more heat than anyone in the match. He attacks Rey, Prince covers and retains. But he doesn't want a tentative win, no. So he tries to give the belt to Rey in a sort of, look at me, I'm such a good guy that I don't want to give you, I don't want that win. Have the belt. But Ray doesn't want the belt like that either. So you've got Tony Schiavone on commentary basically saying how good it is that no one wants the TV title, and you're like, that's not a good thing at all. Damn. Dud. Awful. Zero psychology. No heat. Crowd didn't give a fuck in the side. Match was shit. Next. DDP defeated Buff Bagwell via DQ in an okay match. And yes, I know what you're thinking already. Buff Bagwell, okay match. Have you lost your senses, Mark? Trust me. So, maybe all the fans who went to the merchandise stands, because that's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking in that last match, you know, the Prince Iaukea one, I mean, to the point, right, at certain points in that match, you could see people walking out, and not just like one or two, loads of people. They all went to the merchandise stands, went to get a beer, went for a piss, went to get a hot dog, whatever it was they do between matches. I reckon they all came back just in time for DDP's entrance, because he got a big pop when he came out, legit. So yeah, that's a good one, isn't it? So back and forth to start until DDP hits a great looking DDT. Buff comes back with a tornado DDT of his own, and then he has a little shoving match. You know, tornado DDT, 1, 2, kicks out, gets in the referee's face, shoves him. Referee shoves him back, gets the biggest pop of the night so far. The referee shoving him back. The crowd love it. You're like, wow, that's an interesting one. It really is. DDP with a clothesline, atomic drop, and a sit-down powerbomb for 2. Roll gets 2 for Page. He calls for the diamond cutter, but Buff reverses into a backslide for 2. And then in one of the most retarded things I've ever seen, Buff hits what is essentially a perfect plex, yeah? 1, 2, and then he lets go of it. Because, of course, perfect plex, remember, you hold them in position for the pin, yeah? He says to the referee, I want you to count him out instead. So the referee starts counting to 10. Predictably, of course, DDP gets up at 9. What's the fucking point in that? That doesn't make any sense. That's really baffling. Diamond cutter, Diamond and the, as he's going for the cover, the NWO run out and basically, Syxx, fuck. Buff Bagwell is disqualified. Bad ending to an okay match as DDP bails through the crowd. I've given this one 1 3/4 because the thing about this one is that the crowd are much more into it than any other match since the opener. But the thing is that it was building to something nice, I thought. Alright, that perfect plex, 10 count stuff baffled me. Honest to God, was just like, what are you doing? But yeah, it was building. It was building in such a way that if they'd gone like another 2 more minutes and had a clean finish, this one would have been great. I reckon this one would have been a 2-star, 2.5-star match, I reckon, but that finish really spoiled it for me. And next, match of the night, Eddy Guerrero defeating Chris Jericho in a great match to retain the US title. Nice mat wrestling to start, including Eddy Guerrero locking on a really nice STF. He then hits a nice back suplex to no reaction. And you're like, oh, not again. The crowd have lost interest in the first minute of this match. They just don't give a fuck about either guy. And to be fair, this isn't, this is quite a harsh criticism, but the thing about this one is that at the time, Eddy Guerrero probably wasn't over enough to be given the United States Championship, and Chris Jericho hadn't developed, the heel persona that he, developed in WCW. It was so good. He was just some guy, so he probably didn't deserve the title shot. So you sat there watching it. You can understand why the crowd don't give a fuck. Belly to back by Jericho gets 2. He follows up with an abdominal stretch, a nice Northern Light suplex, and a stalling suplex for 2. Spinebuster and a Lion Tamer. Incidentally, all of these moves, all of them get no reaction at all. None. Nothing. Lariat by Jericho, who then goes through a chin lock. He then puts on a torture rack, which he also turns into like a backbreaker, which is rim. So imagine the torture rack, and he sits down. Yeah, that's a nice little move. Eddy comes back with a lariat and a powerbomb for 2. He hits a brainbuster, but a frog splash attempt doesn't work, and he walks into a colossally big release German suplex that is so lovely. You're like, wow, that was nice. Jericho then follows up with a big release belly-to-belly suplex for 2 as Eddy gets his foot on the ropes. I'm absolutely loving this match, by the way. Crowd don't care in the slightest. Springboard dropkick by Jericho is followed by a springboard crossbody. Eddy counters a crossbody into an atomic drop, which is really nice. They do a double KO spot. Think about it, the referee's counting 1, 2. Crowd don't care. They're not even chanting along with the ref. That's how little the crowd give any sort of shit about this match. They're just not interested at all. Damn, it's ridiculous. Lovely power slam by Jericho. Eddy reverses suplex into a roll-up. Super kick by Jericho gets 2. Eddy tries to trade do DDT, and this is one of the nicest counters I've ever seen. Imagine if saying DDT, the way you get your head and you spin round with them, yeah? Eddy does that, yeah, but Jericho manages to stop him in mid-rotation and turn it into a Northern Lights suplex for 2. And you're like, wow, where the hell did that come from? Jericho goes for a powerbomb, Eddy counters it into a sunset flip for the win. Superb match, really good psychology by Jericho. I haven't mentioned it, but Jericho's psychology is really good. The problem with this one is that the crowd, they just didn't, like I've said all through this match, they just didn't care. And I felt that really hurt this match. This one could have been a 4, maybe even a 4.5 star match. Honestly, it was that good. The lack of crowd noise, though, just really hurt. And it went 12 minutes, so, you know, like I say, maybe a bit longer, you know, it would have been nice as well. So, yeah, that was the match of the night. It has to be said, from there, it is downhill all the way, and the matches just go worse and worse and worse. So, let's start you off nicely, shall we? The Public Enemy, which of course is Rocco Rock and Johnny Grunge, for those who don't know, defeated Harlem Heat and the Faces of Fear. Faces of Fear are the Barbarian and Meng. Oh yes, they are, in a crap triple threat match. Steiners were meant to be in this one, but they were involved in a car accident settled by the NWO and filmed by Syxx. Wrestling's all about suspending your disbelief, as we all know. There's certain things that I watch and just go, I can't do that. I can't suspend my disbelief. For example, only in wrestling could someone commit a major crime, yeah, film it, broadcast themselves doing said crime on international television, yeah, and get away with it. Hard to suspend your disbelief when it's something that ridiculous. It really, really is, isn't it? Speaking of things that baffle me, because that just baffled me, here's one for you. How in the name of blue hell did the Public Enemy get jobs not only in WCW at this time, but they also got to work in the WWF as well? They were mildly entertaining in ECW, mildly, but not super over or super entertaining by any stretch of the imagination. That makes no sense whatsoever. So, right, let's get. There's not a lot to talk about this one, to be honest. Power slam by Meng on Rock. Grunge plays Jobber in Peril as the Harlem Heat own him. Grunge is awful, incidentally. He botches so many things in this match. An Irish whip he botches. Saying that, Booker also botches an Irish whip. So, you know, what does that say? Nice spot by Booker. He misses an elbow. He goes for an elbow, misses. In the one motion of missing the elbow, turns it into a spinneroonie, and in the motion of doing the spinneroonie, leaps up and does an axe kick. Sorry, a leg lariat. It's all in one fluid motion. You're like, wow, that's just saved the match, hasn't it? From being a dud. Also, the thing is, I'm too busy looking at Sherry Martel, who's Harlem Heat's manager. I'm like, god damn, she was so fucking beautiful. She was such a good-looking woman. She really was. Anyway, super belly to belly, Plex. Saved literally the spinneroo thing, and then Barbarian hitting a super belly to belly plex, I think is the way of describing that one. Save this from being a dud. Meng follows up with a power driver for 2. Faces of Here hits stereo headbutts off the top. Then a double team power 1 for 2. Harlem Heat end up on the outside. So without making a fucking tag, oh, it makes no sense. Without making this tag, the Public Enemy come in and they do this awful looking double team body splash to get the win. Less said the better. Match was, match was 1 spot away, maybe 2 away from being a dud. It's a quarter of a star match. It's terrible. That's all you need to know about it. So then, next, oh, god damn it. Like I say, I promise you, these just go worse and worse and worse and worse. Jeff Jarrett defeated Steve McMichael in a shit match. And this, ladies and gentlemen, is my first ever Mongo match. Yay, aren't I lucky? Stipulation on this one, and of course it's a Jeff Jarrett match, so there's got to be something involved. You can't just have a standard clean match when Jeff Jarrett's around. Oh no. Is that basically, if Jeff Jarrett wins this one, he becomes a 4 horseman. Or one of the 4 horsemen, sorry. Yay, that's good to know. Mongo's already in the Horseman, so how that's going to work. After a bit of basic stuff, which, basic being arm drags and headlock takedowns and shit like that. Bit of basic back and forth. Mongo hits a power slam. Abdominal stretch by Jeff Jarrett. They go outside as Deborah helps Jarrett. Basically, Mongo and Jeff Jarrett were feuding over Deborah at this time as well. So Deborah is like, she keeps doing little things to help Jeff Jarrett, even though she's married to Steve McMichael. Yay. Match is so ridiculously boring though. Mongo is awful. Everything he does looks shit. Sleeper by Jeff Jarrett, yay. Crowd are completely dead. Mongo with a sleeper that Jeff Jarrett counters into a belly-to-back suplex, which is nice. Sidewalk slam by Mongo, who follows with a bossman slam. Crossbody by Jerry, he's the dad for fuck's sake, by Jeff Jarrett. As I sit there begging this one to end. And Deborah basically, she's got this briefcase that she carries around. She gets on the apron, yeah, facing outwards, not facing into the ring, yeah, facing outwards. Basically chucks the briefcase over her head. She can't just give it to Mongo, so it's obvious something's going on. Jeff Jarrett gets it, bam, round the top of the head. 1, 2, 3. Jeff Jarrett is in the 4 Horsemen. Whoop-de-doo, dud. Not care in the slightest. Oh, next. These just get worse. This is honestly, I was looking forward to watching these shows. Did I mention that? Yeah, when I started this series, like, yeah, never seen them, don't know much about them, want to hear it, you know. I've always been told 1997 was a great year for WCW. Evidence of this show? No, it's not. As Chris Benoit defeated Kevin Sullivan in a crap San Francisco death match. Ooh, Woman and Jackie, who are accompanying Benoit and Sullivan, respectively, are strapped together in this one. So it's like you've got a San Francisco death match going on between the men and a strap match between the women. Everyone's a winner or not, as the actual case might be. Catfight from the start, and the director seems much more interested in focusing on the women than the men. And you know, why would you? You know, they're spanking each other. They're spanking each other with the strap, and they're wearing very, very tight outfits. So who cares about big flabby, bald Helen Sullivan when you got Nancy Sullivan's ass getting spanked? Everyone's a winner, you know. You know, Jackie whips Benoit, then takes the strap off. Kevin hangs Benoit over the ropes with it, yeah. Benoit's hanging here, he's clutching around. So Jackie just calmly walks up, bam, right in the bollocks. And you're like, Jesus Christ. The thing is that I'm laughing at that as I'm watching. I'm going, oh! And the thing is that makes it even worse is that the commentators are laughing their ass off throughout this one. They really are. And I'm literally struggling to think. I'm thinking to myself, is this one meant to be a comedy? Or is this one meant to be like a deadly serious battle? Because I don't know. They go, Benoit and, yeah, the men, sorry, let's just say the men. They brawl backstage and then they head back to the ring. Power drive by Benoit, who gets a table, puts Sullivan on the table, and Jackie's like, oh, I must save a woman, so I must save a man. So Jackie gets on top of Sullivan. Benoit does like the diving headbutt, you know, cross-body sort, excuse me, onto both of them, and predictably the table doesn't break. So, you know, in an improvised spot, they don't, you know, he doesn't pick him up and powerbomb or something. He just literally underneath the table covers him. The referee rolls his eyes and then does a 1, 2, 3. That's how bad it is. But then, so you sat there, you think it's alright. That was the win, by the way. Yeah, it's a dub match, by the way. Nothing of note whatsoever, really. You sat there going, comedy, serious, comedy, serious, comedy, serious. And then it's like, right, so at this point they must decide, right, we're going to do it serious. Because the 3 people who are down, Benoit, Jackie and Sullivan, do a really long sell job. And then, to really make me mad, all 3 of them do stretcher jobs. And you're like, but there's no reason for that. There's no reason for any of them to be taken out of the arena in ambulances. For fuck's sake. Also, the other thing that makes me mad about this one is that while this is happening, while these people being put in stretchers and the commentators, you should be doing a sell job, I suppose. No, they're not talking about what's happening in the match. They're talking about Piper and Hogan coming up in the context of this is what could happen in the main event. So I understand that they're trying to put over. You hear that whistle then? That was mad, wasn't it? All I said was this. This is. So you can't do it there. Yeah. They're saying that Hogan and Piper could end up like this, when it obviously isn't going to. But the stretch, oh, it's stupid. It's so stupid. 2 matches to go, don't worry, and then we're done. Yeah, another dud. Next one isn't a dud, but you'd think it would be with who's in it. The Giant and Lex Luger defeated the Outsiders in a crap match to win the WCW titles. So, I'm sure you remember, a sold out, we saw the Outside, no we didn't, we saw the Steiner Brothers defeat the Outsiders to win the Tag Team Championships. And the next night on Nitro, Bischoff reversed the decision. So, the other thing that needs to, so of course the Outsiders were still the champions, the other thing of note in this one is that Lex Luger's got a broken arm, so he can't get medical clearance to wrestle in the match. So Giant has to go on. Giant is forced to do it alone, so it's a 2-on-1 match essentially. Before we go on, let's everyone place your bets right now. How many bumps will Nash take in this match? I am going to go out on a limb on this one. I'm going to say 6. 6 bumps, because Giant is obviously going to own him. So, let's go for it. So, come on. Hall gets tossed around from the start. He tags in Nash, who gets drop kicked. 1 over the ropes. There's 1. Yeah, Giant doing a drop kick. It just looks so good. It really does. Like, such a big guy doing a really nice drop kick. Over the ropes, there's 1. He's driven back, then driven back first into the ring post. 2. Syxx comes out and takes out Giant with the cruiserweight title, enabling Nash to come back. He does all his usual moves, Giant with his comeback, including throwing Syxx out at Nash. That's an interesting one. Have him. That's 3. Hall gets the cruiserweight title and takes out the Giant, and this is the only good part of this match, I promise you, enabling Kevin Nash to hit the jackknife powerbomb on the Giant. And what you say what you like about Nash. I've always said that I haven't got really much time for him. That was impressive. It really, really was. Luger comes out, tags himself in, clotheslines everyone. 4 bumps. Racks and Kevin Nash for the win. Then, right, just to make sure, Giant picks up Hall, chokeslams him, pins him to make sure that it's the legal man. Oh yeah, what happens there? The next night, Tony then tells us that by Giant pinning Hall, then there is no way that Bischoff can overturn the decision. So of course, the next night on Nitro, Bischoff reverses the decision because Luger wasn't the legal man, even though we'd just seen Giant pin Hall to make sure of it. Oh, fucking ridiculous! Literally, the only good thing about this match was the jackknife. That move was like, wow, that saved it from being a dud. Seriously, but it gave it a quarter of a star. It didn't do anything to help the match. It really didn't. Lastly, Hulk Hogan defeated Roddy Piper in an awful match to retain the WCW title. I mentioned earlier about the Starrcade 1997 and 1996 match. Here's some spots that happen in this one. Can you let's just picture these in your mind. Low blow, choking, biting, eye gouging, the clap behind the head. Have you ever seen them point in that one? I don't think I've ever seen anyone else do it apart from Roddy Piper, yeah? Imagine if my parents' head is here, yeah? I do this. Round the back of their head. So look, all my arms are hitting the head. Doesn't hurt in the slightest. Stupid. Anyway, all terrible stuff. But this is the interesting thing. The crowd are really enjoying it. Really enjoying it. They're really into this match. Now, I know that WCW appealed more to the older fan, the people who've grown up watching Hogan and Piper in their generation, But I couldn't understand how this is awful wrestling. It's so... there's no actual wrestling moves, per se. Sting and Savage come out. The first thing I noticed that Savage is dressed in all black. So you're thinking, something's going to happen here. Something's going down. Sting then decides to go to the back. He comes halfway up the entrance, tries to stop Savage from going to the ring, and then walks back out. That literally was Sting's involvement in this show. You're like, wow, that's easy money, isn't it? Fucking hell. Easy money. Your pay-per-view bonus was you walking halfway to the ring and then walking back again. Wow. Wow. Easy money. I'm in the wrong business, I really am. Anyway, bear hug by Hogan. Piper eventually breaks out of it, locks on the sleeper, and literally puts Hogan out to win the match at 10 minutes and 11 seconds. Now wait, I can hear you say, but Mark, you said that Hogan won. This is it. Savage, while Piper's celebrating with the referee, Savage puts Hogan's feet under the ropes. Referee turns around and goes, oh my God, I must have made a mistake. It's not evil referee Nick Patrick, by the way. I don't remember him being on this show now I think about it. It's it's Randy Anderson. No, it's not. It's Mark Curtis is the referee. And he goes, oh my God, Hogan's, even though, I think about it, Piper's got a sleep hold and he sat down. The referee, just to check Hogan's hand for the 3 arm drops, must have looked at his legs. And you're like, so why the fuck have you restarted the match? You're going on the heel's word. Fuck off, it doesn't work like that, it really doesn't. So the match is restarted, but not before Savage slips something to Hogan. Must be a pair of brass knucks or something. Hogan gets up, bam, 1 punch, 1, 2, 3, game over. You're like, fucking hell, what a terrible, terrible match. Hogan and Savage, they beat the shit out of Piper to end the show. Fucking great. So, Syxx versus Malenko and Eddy Guerrero versus Jericho were really good matches. The Luger match and DDP versus Buff Bagwell were all, alright, 2-star one. I gave them 1 3/4, but you can call them 2-star matches if you want. So we weren't bad matches. The rest of it was terrible, pure garbage. 3 duds, and incidentally, do you know what I've given that main event? Yeah, -1 star, offensive sort of match. Awful. You know, and it would have been less if the crowd, if it would have been a -2 or a -1.5 stars if the crowd hadn't been so fucking into it. They loved it. They really loved it. So basically, if you want to know, basically the way I see it is this: the undercard is either okay to great. The main, the uppercard is worthless. So because of that, I'm going to give it 2 out of 10. Haha, yes. 2 out of 10. Next up, ladies and gentlemen, in this series, I'm going to do WrestleMania 13, which I remember being awful, apart from one match, and you can probably guess what that one was. Yeah, so, I've been Mark P. Hit that subscribe button if you want. I'm sorry, that this has felt like a long, waffling vid, if I'm honest, but I hope you've enjoyed it. If you have, let me know down here. I've been Mark P. I'll be back soon. I've got the 2001 pay-per-views to review, still to come in this month. That's No Way Out 2001 and Superbrawl's Revenge. I've been Mark P, and I will see you all very soon. Take it easy.